Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Weddings Done Right Radio, the how-to for the I do. This radio show or this podcast was designed for you, the bride or the bride and groom, because there's so much information out there on weddings and planning a wedding and how to find this for your wedding. And we are in wedding season right now. It's 2016. I am your host. I am Jody Harris, the CEO of Fun. I am also the owner of Sight and Sound Events, and I am so happy to bring you the show. And it's gonna be a great one today, because on today's show, it's all about your ceremony. You cannot have a wedding reception without a ceremony. There's got to be some sort of ceremonial something that happens, or else it wouldn't be called a wedding. So with me today is a woman that I've known for quite a while, and we work together all the time. It is Reverend Wanda Tracy and Weddings by Wanda, right? Correct?
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wanda, for being here. We've known each other for quite a while.
It has been. It's been a few years, Jody, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I'm so excited to have you on the show, because you are one busy lady, especially around Las Vegas, where most of your weddings are, right? In Las Vegas?
It is. Las Vegas and its surrounding areas. And I'd like to say thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get started. We spend many times together. We do a lot of Mirage weddings. So you'll find Wanda's all over the city, but basically you find Wanda a lot over at the Mirage. And I always see Wanda, as we're like passing. She's doing the ceremony part, and we're doing the reception part. So it's really cool to have you here. So this is great.
Thank you.
So Wanda, let's kind of get started. Tell everybody a little bit about you and who you are and all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, well, a little bit about me is that for the past 4 years, I've had the opportunity to do many weddings in Vegas. And what inspired me to do it is my personality, is that I just connect really well with people in a very short span of time. So I looked for what would be something that I could do that would complement just my natural personality. And ceremonies, the wedding ceremonies has just been an incredible experience in that regard, because it requires the being organized.
Yes.
Great interpersonal skills.
Yes.
And I enjoy a task where you pour everything into it, and then it's you get this complete end product, and it's done.
Yeah.
And then you get to do it all over again, but it's with different people, different cultures, different background. I just that is my joy, my element.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just diverse background.
And sometimes you also have to play like psychologist.
Oh, that's like always.
That's anybody in the wedding
Always.
industry. And it's so funny because, Wanda, I get the people like after you have them. So that weight has been lifted off their shoulder. It's like, oh, we did it. We're official. And now it's party time all the time.
Yes.
Where you get them and they're a lot more serious. They're nervous. They're,
Exactly.
Is it because, why do you think people get so nervous about it?
Here's the thing. In the beginning, when I make that initial contact with the couple, there's anxiety, there's excitement, there's the nerves. They don't know what to expect. It's their wedding ceremony, and they have a vision, an idea in their head, on what they want. And then all of the emotional elements come into play, because there's family dynamics sometimes, there's, close friends, all of the different things that will influence. And also there's so many choices that even, something as I don't want to say simple as a ceremony, but, a wedding ceremony, they don't realize how many different things they're going to have to decide, even in the ceremony. So in that initial meeting with them, It's having the capability of being able to listen to what it is that they want, and also to listen to the things that they're not saying. Because sometimes a couple, I'll get a call and they'll go, "This is my first time getting married. I don't even know where to start."
Sure.
And so, with that, the place to start is to ask questions about their preferences. Like for example, many of the couples that I work with, they want what's called a secular ceremony. That they don't want any spiritual references in it. They don't want any religious undertones or anything. That seems to be a recent trend.
Secular, okay.
Yes.
So when they don't want any religious overtones, is it like? But it's still all love, right? It's all about the love. Is it love references then? Okay.
Yes. And so it's knowing, it's getting a feel for what's their personality as to what they want spoken. Because I'll have couples that will want a secular ceremony, and it speaks about their relationship as a partnering that develops and grows, throughout their time together. Other couples that will say that they want a secular ceremony, it's just simple. It's just basically they don't want any God references or any religious references at all. And then with just a few short questions, the minister, the marriage officiant, we can get a really good insight and a really good feel as to, how to create this personalized ceremony piece for the couple.
So so forgive me. Okay, so it's all about you're saying getting to know the couple, getting to know them a little bit better, their likes, their dislikes. But when I close my eyes and I think of a wedding ceremony outside of a church, of course, the priest, because we did the whole Catholic Church thing, and that's a whole different, we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yes.
But when I close my eyes and I think of an officiant, and especially when I think of like a town like a Las Vegas, I think of the person, I'm thinking of those movies that we see, those comedy movies like The Hangovers or like, Vegas Vacation or whatever, those crazy soap operas where they drive off to Las Vegas and they knock on the door of the chapel, not in a hotel,
right?
But it's always on the strip, and there's the minister and his wife in their bathrobe. I mean, that's the image that I get. But nowadays, it's not like that, because you're saying we're all about personalization.
Yes.
Yes. And so knowing that, I mean, how does one go about trying to find the right minister? What are the steps? What do you recommend for them? So I'm coming to Las Vegas. Well, not even. I'm getting married in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm not having it at a church.
Great thing about today's ceremonies is modern technology, all of the social media and everything. Everything is at your fingertips with reviews. Reviews, you cannot pay a couple to post a review on, a glowing review if that's not the experience that they had. So whether it's Yelp or any of the wedding directories like Wedding Wire, if it's the Knot, wherever you see reviews posted, take the time and look at the reviews of the officiant, and you get an insight about the personality of the officiant. Like, for example, with my personality, it's all about making that warm, intimate connection with the couple. And not only with the couple, because, with my style of officiating is that I take everyone into consideration. So, like, for example, when we're working together, at the Mirage, I always arrive early.
Yes.
Because I'm taking an assessment of what's the vibe, what's the energy feel with the the family and the friends who are attending, and even if it's just the couple, because sometimes we do ceremonies that is
Yes.
just an elopement and just the couple. I'm still getting a feel for what the vendors who are there working, like what's the energy, because then I just shift into the mode of, okay, getting that couple that they are present with one another, that they're not distracted with anything else. So that, because so often you'll hear a couple say, you know what, I got married and I don't even remember. I don't even remember anything that happened in the ceremony. It was just, it all happened so quickly. My mission with every couple that I serve is to get them so present with each other that when they walk away from it, they will remember what happened in their wedding ceremony if it's 50 years from now. And then I so often I get couples that I've done their weddings like 4 years ago. They'll still send me emails and say, "Oh my gosh, I still remember."
That's true.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful to be able to do that.
So you mentioned technology, you mentioned social media, you mentioned reviews. When a couple books an officiant, do you, and I know you can't speak for all officiants out there,
Right.
but do you recommend that there be some sort of personality question? Do you do like a personality questionnaire to find out about the couple? I know some wedding planners do that. What?
Yes, I do. In my initial interview with the couple, and I work with many couples that they're international. So I work with couples that I never speak to them by voice until the day of the ceremony.
Got it.
And yet everything goes really well because back to the technology that we have. When I receive the email from them, every email has a tone to it that you get to know the couple, like even how the couple signs the bottom of the email.
Sure.
Well, that's all clues for me as to what's going to unfold in that ceremony, how they address one another. And then it's like, for example, I firmly believe that not every officiant can serve every wedding ceremony. It's like, for example, if a couple comes to me and they tell me that they want a ceremony that is from the beginning to the end, it's religious rituals, and it's not a religion that I'm familiar with, that I know, I will always refer them to someone who does.
Sure.
Like for example, if and I had this situation where the couple practice, and it wasn't like fully practicing the religion, but they grew up.
Sure.
Certainly, and they wanted me to perform these sacred rituals during the ceremony. And I always say beware of what you say yes to, because it's more than just booking a couple, and it's more than just getting a ceremony. And so, I explained to the couple, it's their religious faith was not my background, and referred them to someone else. And they said no, they still wanted me to do the ceremony. And so when I get situations like that, then I will ask them, like, for whatever the religious ritual may be, is to ask maybe an elder in the family to represent that part of the ceremony, because it's very sacred.
Sure.
It's very sacred, and I never want to just stand there and just say words.
So there's a lot of prep.
It is.
When you're finding an officiant, and if that's part of your wedding that's super important to you, then making sure that someone does a lot of prep.
Yes.
Prepares ahead of time, and not just shows up with a piece of paper and says, "Do you, Pat, take
Yes.
Jody to be your wife?" If that kind of stuff is important to you, then you should invest into finding and somebody who will do that.
Yes. And then when the couple is searching for the right officiant, for them. As I said before, it's like, yes, you check the reviews. Sometimes someone will refer. Ask the professionals in the business. Like
Yes.
if you've already contacted the photographer, and think about this. Photographers are at every ceremony.
That's true. And not videographers, but definitely photographers. We're hoping the videographers get there, but the photographers, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then, it's like you get a referral there. Also, many of the ceremonies will have sound. So
Sure.
there's a microphone. Whoever's taking care of the sound, ask them, because they know who's going to speak articulate. Mm-hmm. They'll know who's going to speak that the voice flow comes across, that everyone who is attending your wedding can understand. It's so that you get referrals from the professionals in the business, and then follow up with, we'll look at the reviews. What did couples have to say about
Absolutely. What are your feelings? Because we get this a lot. Ask if you can observe a ceremony that they're performing at.
I decline on it. It's a practice that I will not do, and I've had
good for you.
couples to ask me if I will send them a video of a wedding that I've done, and I decline because I consider that to be very private.
I agree.
And personal.
I agree.
That everyone who is attending that event have either been invited or they've been hired.
Right. No.
And so it's just not open to that, and I understand that, a couple will be apprehensive and you want to know that you're getting the right officiant, but this is where it comes in trust. That trust the professionals in the business, they're not going to steer you wrong.
Right.
Their reputation is at stake.
Yes.
And the professionals in the business, we all want to work with equally professional, polished people.
Correct.
So if you get a referral from a professional, you've got half of the task is like done.
Absolutely. And I think trust is very, very important no matter what your occupation is, if you're hiring a professional. Because like you said, we're the people that do this every weekend. And some situations like Wanda, she could be doing it every day.
Yes.
She's very blessed. She lives in the wedding
Yes.
capital of the world and she gets calls. Trust me, you get those calls too where people haven't prepared,
Yes.
the panic calls, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you got to trust no matter what part of what you're paying for. And if you think things are so much money, it is because you're paying a professional, an event professional, somebody who is an expert in their industry. And just like if you were going for a heart surgery, you wouldn't go to the budget heart surgery guy. You'd go to the best guy on the block because you trust him. And that's the way it is with your wedding. I mean, hopefully you only get married once. That's what we want for you. Only get married once.
Jody, excuse me, but I always say you only get married once, but you renew the marriage many times.
Oh, absolutely. I have.
And so it's still more ceremony.
Absolutely.
So you may do a wedding ceremony again, but make it be your renewal ceremony.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trust is the big takeaway here. What I wanted to ask you too was how soon, it's January 2016.
Yes.
Lots of people got engaged over the holidays, whether it was Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. How soon should they be booking an officiant?
I'm going to say book the officiant as soon as possible, and especially if you're in a market like Las Vegas. That if it's a community that it's weddings are done constantly, you want to book the officiant as soon as possible. However, that does not mean that you proceed with the ceremony process, the composing the ceremony. In other words, just get the officiant booked. Because so often what I find, like, for example, I have bookings right now that's 2017.
Wow.
And
Sure.
if I compose the couple's wedding ceremony script now, between now and 2017, many things will evolve and change, and because with the wedding ceremony, what's expressed in a wedding ceremony, it's a creative process. It's a creative flow. It's like for example, when couples write their own
which is
marriage vows.
Which is very, very bad. When I was researching you, that is the one trend. They're telling everybody to personalize their vows, which I'm sure you're seeing a lot of.
Yes.
So what do you?
Yes, and so with the writing the marriage vows, what I always encourage the couple to do is start writing that like when you're within like 30 days of the wedding ceremony. In other words, don't write your marriage vows today if you're getting married a year from now. Because what's going to express, it will just continue to flow and express. And then you'll have a book that you're standing before the family and friends and you're going on and on and on. And it loses its message and everything because it gets too lengthy. Rather than if you write it, in this time, you're expressing what's now, and how that will transcend into the future.
Well, you talked about this script, I guess, right? Is that how you referred to it?
I referred as a ceremony script.
A ceremony script. Do all ministers do? Is that something that's common of all ministers, or is this just a Wanda thing, or is this like people on your level thing?
Not all ministers will have a typewritten script, and I really admire the people immensely who can just flow with it without, any notes. For me, I need the ceremony script because each wedding that I do, it's unique and different to that couple.
See, when I think of no script, I think cookie cutter. I think of a chapel where it's a revolving door where people just come in, they come in, they come in, they come in. Now, in our pre-interview before we went on the air, we were talking about wedding chapels.
Yes.
And you corrected me because you said not all wedding chapels operate that way.
Right. There are and many of the chapels do an exceptional job. That what you see in the Hollywood thing where it's just, everyone is, fall down intoxicated or it's just more of a comedy sketch thing. That's not all chapels. And it's the other thing is that the great thing with wedding chapels is that they do an excellent job with matching the personality of the minister. They're like matchmakers. Okay. Because they do a great job of matching the officiant with the couple. Like, for example, I'm not the entertainer performer. So, if you're looking for the officiant that's just gonna tell joke after joke and make you laugh out loud, I'm not that personality because my style is it really speaks to the union of the couple that it's very important. You're getting married, but I will say this with the chapels is that they have the personalities that would be able to do that for a couple that has that they want it to be a laugh factory.
Sure. So your wedding chapel salesperson, I guess that's what they are, because they're really, quote, not official wedding coordinators. Gabriella and I kind of talked about that on the last show when we talked about the coordinators, but the person that helps you at the wedding chapel will, like you, hopefully we'll find out a little bit about your personality. Because that's if you're like a very Zen person, which I kind of think you're kind of Zen.
Yes.
Am I right? I get
it is.
Yeah, she's very Zen. She's not going to talk about you, but she's like, it's about the union. You're 100% right. But if you want somebody who's going to joke, you're 100% right. If you're expecting a Zen type ceremony and you get Don Rickles, or you know what I'm saying?
It's a disaster.
Yeah, you get Eddie Murphy or Kevin Hart does your wedding ceremony. It's
right.
You're going to remember that wedding ceremony for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
So it's really important that wherever you have your ceremony or whoever you choose, that you do get to know a little bit about their personality. And Gabriella and I, again, talked about this in our show on wedding coordinators, but I think it's very important for wedding ministers, officiants, to also have a little bio or a little personality, something on their website that gives you a little insight into what their personality is like. I love Star Trek. I'm into The Notebook. It was my favorite movie. I love Seinfeld. I like American Idol. You like whatever. Just so you, so you see if you're, oh my God, Wanda loves Dancing with the Stars. So do I.
Yes.
Just you can find something you have in common.
It's a matching process. Now, I also want to bring this up that I do use a script. However, I am very present in the wedding ceremony. So whatever unfolds in the moment, I will acknowledge that and incorporate that in the ceremony. For example, I had a poolside ceremony. It was a private home pool party, poolside ceremony, and somewhere during the ceremony, the dog, the mother of the bride had a dog. The dog got in the pool, but he didn't do a big splash. He just entered real quietly. Yeah. And I could see something like movement in the pool.
Wow.
And then I observed the guest and the couple standing before me became increasingly distracted by whatever was in the pool. Sure. And so, I just stopped the ceremony and we all had a good laugh about the dog just floating, just swimming in the pool.
You can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Yes. So, even though it's script, it's like whatever it is that's unfolding during the ceremony,
sure.
I don't ignore it.
Of course.
It becomes part of the ceremony. And I will tell, every couple, because every ceremony has its own personal signature. There will be just that signature moment in each one of those ceremonies that just defines what that wedding is about. And so, and that's the something that can't be scripted.
Sure.
And that's the thing where if that's your personality and you want the officiant that is observant of everything, then these are the key things that you look. Well, I'm going to say you'll be observant in your interviewing process, and these things will resonate in the reviews.
I think it's important, no matter what service you offer for weddings, that you have to have a script, no matter what. Whether you're a DJ, whether you're a photographer. I mean, you don't need a script to be a photographer, but you still need to maybe have a list of some of the shots.
Yes.
Because you could be a photographer for 2 years, or you can be a photographer for 22 years. You sometimes could just, refer back to your notes. I think I know I do it as an MC.
Yes.
We all have that sheet of paper that keeps us kind of on track.
It does.
And yeah, you are present. We all, you better be, you better be in the moment. That's great. No, that's great. That's great advice. A question: when it comes down to the paperwork, the official paperwork, is that something that your minister, your officiant does? Are you the ones that go to City Hall? Do you get the license? What kind of explain that whole thing?
I can only speak to Nevada.
That's true.
Because I'm licensed in Nevada, and different states have different guidelines and laws or whatever. But in the state of Nevada, the couple getting married must obtain. They're responsible to get their marriage license. And then it's the marriage officiant's duty and responsibility is to get that document executed and recorded within 10 days of the wedding ceremony. So that document has to record.
Got it.
And then to get all of the proper signatures, in place is with Nevada. And the entire process is very simple, very easy.
Now, I see a lot of, when I did my research on the show, I've seen a lot of different ceremonies, a lot of different ministers, and they're saying that they can marry you anywhere. You and I had a private conversation,
Yes.
which sparked you becoming a guest, about what they call sidewalk weddings.
Yes.
Kind of explain to people what a sidewalk wedding is. And
I will say this: beware of somebody who says they can marry you anywhere, because you cannot get married just anywhere. In Las Vegas, any place that you stand, it's called property. And unless it's the Las Vegas sign, there's no property fee. But anywhere that you get married, you either have to have a permit to get married on the premises, or you pay a property fee to whoever owns that property. Like for example, if I get couples that will email me or call me and say, well, we just want to get married in front of the Bellagio fountains. Now, so often you see that in the Hollywood movies.
Right, you do.
But you'll also see people dancing and frolicking in the Bellagio fountain.
Right,
And we know that doesn't happen.
right, or at Caesar's Palace in the fountain.
Yeah. And so to ask an officiant to marry you on that property, that's you can't. That's the hotel's property. And so that has to be approved and booked through the hotel. Now, sometimes a couple will say, well, on the sidewalk, that if it's where pedestrians walk and it's not the hotel property, then the answer is yes. That's public property. But the question is, would I do it? No. I won't do public sidewalk weddings.
Right, yeah. That's right. I get what you're saying, but I feel bad for the bride who contacts just a minister, and we talked about, going to Craigslist and finding somebody
Yes.
there. I mean, you can't just get married wherever. And again, TV, movies, and it goes for anywhere. You could live by the beach in Newport Beach. I don't think it's legal just to pull up a car and just
stop. Yeah.
Or Palos Verdes, for example, right? The
Yes.
beautiful cliffs of Palos Verdes, California. I don't think you can just pull over on the side of the road with 50 of your friends and chairs and just get married there.
Exactly. And then in Las Vegas, there are so many places that make it so affordable to get married on their property. It's like there are places that it would cost less than dinner for two or a show ticket for you to get married. And it's so worth it to do it right than to bootleg and you get tapped on the shoulder by security, or even the minister taking the risk of getting a fine for violating being on property without permit.
Oh, absolutely.
To
I mean,
be
that'll
there.
ruin everything. I mean, we talked about this is the reason why you are celebrating. You want to get married, and to have it ruined.
Right.
The police bust up your wedding because you decided that you wanted to get married on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Russell Road.
Yes.
For example.
Jody, what's another common thing is that I will have couples say, well, we just want to exchange our vows on a gondola at the Venetian. You can't do that. Are there people that do it? Yes, because so often, they'll challenge, well, I spoke to so-and-so and they said that they would do it. There are people who will do it, but it does not mean that it's permissible to do it, because, there's once again, it's the hotel, and you've got to book that gondola through
the hotel. Somebody
the hotel.
operates
Yes.
that gondola,
Yes.
and he's going to bust you.
Yes.
Unless you throw him a C note. Maybe then he'll keep his
Yes.
mouth shut. Here's $100 for you.
Yes.
Okay. But don't take that chance. I mean, that's
No.
just silly. That's just
No.
stupid. I'm noticing too that a lot of weddings that I'm seeing at a lot of weddings that friends are getting their minister license from some universal church kind of thing.
Yes.
kind of explain what is that all about?
Now, here's the thing. That's good. There isn't any discrepancy about because the minister's license is a minister's license. But this is what I'm going to say. When you get your friend to do it, and the friend is not a skilled person in doing it, the ceremony tends to it's just really bad, really bad because
Pat's shaking Pat is engineering our show, and he's shaking his head. He's seen many a bad ceremony. We both have,
and I've witnessed many like that because it's the friend or someone who attempts to do it. And I always say this: a professional will make anything look easy and possible. So you'll have people go, "Oh, I could do that.
Sure.
I could do this ceremony." But then when they'll forget little things like for example, the welcoming the guest. And then you have to guide the guest. Everyone be seated. There's just there's so many different aspects of that ceremony that non-skilled person doesn't know, and also even the delivery of it.
Sure.
The delivery of it will be either like fragmented or either it'll just be flat.
Yeah.
Like there's no feeling in it
There's
because
no soul.
they're having so many conversations in their head. Because what's one of the greatest fears is standing before a group of people and speaking.
Yes.
And so now you've taken on the responsibility of this is your whether it's your best friend or it's your sister, your brother, whatever. You've taken on this responsibility to serve the ceremony, and you want to get it right. And then often too, it will a real kill for a wedding ceremony is for it to go on and on and on.
Yes. I agree.
That, when I get people who will say, "Oh, we just want something short and simple. We, not more than 15 minutes." Well, that's an average ceremony.
Yes.
An average ceremony does not run more than 15 minutes.
That's what I was just about to ask you as well. How long is a ceremony supposed to be?
It's like, and all of the videographers usually give me feedback on my timing. The ceremonies that I do will average like 12 minutes.
Okay.
It'll float between 9 and 12 minutes.
I've seen you do faster depending on that volcano. I've seen her faster when the brides and grooms are late and she has to marry somebody at the volcano. And they still rock. They always rock.
The volcano, and other thing is when we're standing in 113 degrees heat. It's going to be shorter than 12 minutes.
Absolutely, but you're right. You're right. Pat and I witness. We see a lot of this, and it's on, and people are just like, enough. Let's just go. Yes. I need a drink.
And you see, and what couples don't realize, and I share this with all of the couples when we talk about the timeline, because sometimes they'll say, "That's it, just 10 minutes, and that's it." They go, "For every 1 minute you're standing there, it feels like 3 minutes."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's another kill for a wedding is when a couple has their favorite love song, and they want the entire song to be played as they gaze into each other's eyes. Well, then they quickly discover that 3 minutes of just standing there gazing is a long time.
It's eternity. It could be an eternity.
Yes.
Even the first dance. You're right. Even on a first dance, like, oh, it's just going to be us for the first dance. And then they're like looking at the DJ going,
yes.
Giving the cue, lower it, make it.
So stop. Wedding ceremonies that exceed that 15 minutes, and the things that will elongate it, maybe if they've got family or friends doing a dedication of a reading or someone doing a solo or something like that.
So the family friend who decides to, quote, get this license online is not officially licensed to perform a ceremony in a certain state, right? Because there are laws and you have to have...
Right. And once again, I can only speak for Nevada, but and this is what's really great about Nevada is that they support us, the small business people who are earning a living serving weddings, that the state will issue a temporary approval to someone, who's gotten licensed to do the family or friend's wedding ceremony, and that's a one-time pass, and they pay a fee for it, and they're able to do the ceremony, and that's it.
Do they need to have you by their side? Like, does there have to be an official minister who is quote licensed in Las Vegas or Nevada or anywhere?
Depends. It depends if the state does not approve the license. If the state does not approve the minister, then yes, the family member can still serve the ceremony, but then there has to be a Nevada licensed minister present during the ceremony, because that licensed minister has to complete the marriage documents and actually make that marriage legal. Without that, they had really nice ceremony, but they're not married. It has to have a license and approved by the state of Nevada minister to sign that document.
Are you seeing a lot of people that may incorporate, yourself, an officiant, and then maybe a rabbi or a priest, or there's somebody who represents the ethnicity of the couple, and then you? Do you see a lot of that?
You know what? I get requests for it. I'm not going to say that it's a frequent request or it's a trend. It's an occasional thing. It's an occasional thing. A few months ago, I had a couple from Canada who brought their priest. They had 2 priests to serve their ceremony, and I just had to be on the premises there throughout the whole ceremony and witness the whole ceremony, and then I completed the document and the filing. But yeah, it's not a frequent request, but it is a service that I offer to all of the venues that I serve, because it's a difference of, once again, the professionals in this business, we want to honor the couple. And, it's like we're not in the business of saying no. We're in the business of saying yes, but we're in the business of saying yes to everything that is legal and above board. So if the couple just, like, let's say, for example, I had a family that it was the family custom and tradition for this uncle to serve everyone's wedding.
Okay.
And the state of Nevada didn't approve his minister's license. So he still served the wedding. But once again, we were able to tell the couple, yes, give them what the experience that they wanted, and still have them legally married without it being, it not even being an issue for the entire ceremony. And the other thing that I want to mention is that when I witness, I'm invisible. It's like I'm not standing up there with the wedding party. I'm standing in the background, in the back of the room.
You have the watch going.
Yes,
it's let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So no one in a family or anyone has to even know what's the legal process behind it. It's their ceremony.
So when you block out a minister, when you're booking a minister, you're booking them for a half an hour, an hour. Are they booking?
It's depending on the venue. So let's just say, for example, country club, the hotels or whatever, weddings and banquet facilities. You're booking that time for the minister for an hour.
Okay.
However, that does not mean it's a 1-hour ceremony.
Right.
Because you're factoring in the minister is arriving in advance, like at least 30 minutes before the ceremony, to take a look, because we have to review the documents to be sure that everything is, correct. So there's that time involved in it. And then actually serving the ceremony, even though I'm saying, okay, it's 10 minutes, but then even after the ceremony, sometimes there's signatures that have to take place. Some of the couples sometimes will invite the minister to participate in the photos.
Sure.
Because that's not a common given, where every couple wants the wedding minister in their photos.
I would think I would love. Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not a it's not a common thing. So you're actually blocking that you're purchasing a reserved time block to ensure that everything is taken care of. The other thing to factor in is that weddings usually don't start on time.
Never. Yeah, they very rarely do.
And so with that scheduling that 1 hour, you're looking at that wedding starting sometime within that time frame, and that
Absolutely.
it's finishing up, before that the 1 hour has expired.
Absolutely. Tell me. So let me ask you some questions as we're kind of gearing toward the end of our interview here. Some of the most commonly asked questions that I found on the internet for officiants.
Okay.
Number one is, do you come to the reception? Do couples feel they have to invite you to their party?
Okay, my opinion on this is absolutely not. No. We are there to serve the ceremony, and I'm just going to speak. I know with the nature of my business, I'm usually booked at another event. After, occasionally, if time permits or whatever, I'll graciously accept an invitation, but the couple should not be made to feel that they've got to include, because there's cost
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
everything. And when you look at another plate setting, or another guest, that's all part of their cost, and it's really not necessary for a wedding minister to attend
Right.
a reception.
No, I agree. And what about attire? What do do that you get asked a lot? Like, what are you going to wear to our wedding?
I do. My attire is a tailored suit, and I usually wear dark suit. Either I'll do gray or black, and it's because my intent, once again, is to be invisible. That none of the attention is on me. That everything is about the couple. There are wedding ministers that may wear like the clergy robe. Once again, I don't, because I don't represent
Clergy.
any clergy or minister to any religions. And this is Las Vegas, so you have wedding ministers that may show up in a themed character.
Have you ever had that? I mean, well, I know the answer because you and I did a wedding not too long ago for the Dooleys at the volcano, and she had a Polynesian theme.
Yes,
Do you remember that?
yes.
How can we forget it?
Yeah, so when it's a special request, I do. And then recently, I had a couple that their entire theme was the '80s disco. And
Ooh.
so they asked me to dress as Donna Summers.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh, you could totally rock that look.
that was a lot of fun.
That was so cool. I love
Yeah,
it.
but people can, all sorts of requests. Look, New Year's Eve, I had a bride who asked me would I wear cowboy boots, because the whole theme was, Western. So it just, if I'm able to accommodate, I do.
Sure.
And it just really depends on what's my event before their event, or what's after. But that's a very good question for you to ask the officiant, is what is your attire? Because
Absolutely.
you don't want someone to show up and it's either clashes with your wedding, or it just may be just something like totally out of sorts.
Great question. And what are you seeing? Are you seeing a lot of family things being incorporated into ceremonies? Anything kind of new and trendy that you're seeing being incorporated? It doesn't have to be family, but just incorporated into ceremonies general.
I've given us a lot of thought on, like, to say if something is a trend. I think the inclusion of the couple's children, and I'm going to say children that are like under age 10, that's more of a trend. And this is a really beautiful piece that I've recently been encountering, where the bride and groom will present a gift to the children during the wedding, whether it's a necklace or something that speaks about their union as a family now. Yeah,
Oh, that's very, very nice.
it
That's very,
is. It
very
is.
that's very, very cool. Well, and personalized vows. Obviously, we touched a little bit about the personalized vows. You're seeing a lot of that.
And you know what? I believe that all marriage vows are personalized, or I'm going to say all of the ceremonies that I do, they're personalized because and personalized doesn't necessarily mean that you're telling your how we met story in the marriage vows. Like to personalize something may simply mean, and I'm using the word simple, that the groom, men tend not to want to talk on and on and on. And so they may just say, I just simply want to say this
Yeah, sure.
is that I will honor and cherish our union. That makes it personal.
Absolutely. It's not the whole soap opera thing.
No.
They don't do that. By the way, they don't do you guys still do this in your ceremonies? Is there anybody here who does not
Here's what's funny. I don't. But I recently had a mirage wedding where the couple wanted that because it was part of the culture, was to say those words. And another key thing, the big fear when I do the weddings at the chapel, the couple fears that I'm going to say obey.
Oh yeah, that's
no one wants that word obey. And the only time that I'll include obey is that if, like, sometimes the groom, he has just a really playful character about himself, and he'll go, "Okay, Wanda, can you just include the obey because she's not going to expect it." And then what he doesn't expect is that when I say obey, I'll say to him, "You must obey her."
There you go. Obey. So nobody's ever busted into your ceremonies saying, "Stop this wedding."
No. And I haven't had that, and I haven't had anyone, no runaway groom or runaway bride. I have not experienced that.
Only in TV and movies. You see that. Only in TV and movies. One of the last questions, should the bride and groom tip the officiant? Should it?
That depends on the venue. Here's what I'm going to say. If you get married at any of the chapels, yes. Because the fee that is paid to the officiant, so many people think that what they pay us, we get paid that entire amount, and we don't.
When you're talking about chapels specifically,
yes,
right?
Yes, and it's we don't get paid that. So let's say, for example, if the chapel says the minister's fee is $100, that minister is not getting paid $100, and so it really helps tremendously to do the gratuity, but we won't ask.
Sure.
And I will say for myself, I don't expect it.
Sure.
But it's a nice thing when it does happen. But then, when you're looking at the, I'm going to say the luxury venues, you don't.
Yeah. And I feel that if you deliver, my whole theory on gratuity is if you feel that you've gotten exceptional service, that they were always there for you, that they went above and beyond, no matter what, it's always nice to show appreciation. And a gratuity is always nice. You don't have to, quote, invite your officiant to your wedding reception and go, well, that's the gratuity.
Yes.
Just because, like we said, they've got other things to do or, I think.
And I would also like to say this with gratuity. There's never any need to apologize. Like for example, if I have a couple that gives me gratuity of $5, that I am so appreciative of that. That's very thoughtful for them to do it. And there's no need to apologize. Well, it's only. No, this came from your thoughtfulness.
Absolutely.
And it's totally appreciated.
Absolutely. So Wanda, before we wrap it up, I always ask my guests for one takeaway, one nugget, one good piece of advice that you would like to the whole show's been all nuggets of great information, but what's the one thing that you want to leave them with to remember when it comes to a wedding officiant?
The one thing I want to leave them with is hire a professional and trust trust. Just place your trust in that professional. Don't try to it's like map out every detail, because they know how to take good care of you. Just surrender and trust, but definitely hire a professional, because it's your wedding ceremony.
Right. And you don't want to remember it because they were just a joke and a disaster, So thank you, Wanda. Great, great advice. Wanda, if one wants to find you via the internet, your website address is?
My website address is justmarried.vegas.
Awesome. Justmarried.vegas. Are you on Facebook, Twitter?
I'm Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, great. And they could just find Wanda Tracy.
Oh, it's like listed under multiple. It's Wanda Tracy. It's TRACEY. Wanda's Las Vegas Weddings. You can find me under the justmarried.vegas, or even Wanda's Weddings.
Great. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to another edition of Weddings Done Right Radio, the how-to for the I do. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, it is Jody Harris on Twitter and Jody Harris on Instagram. And please, 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 please share this show with somebody that you know. If you know somebody who's getting married, someone who's engaged, even a fellow wedding professional, it's okay. But the show is really designed for you, the soon-to-be newlywed couple planning your wedding. So I am Jody Harris, CEO of Fun, Sight and Sound Events, telling you to make it fun-tastic. Thanks, everybody.